Let's get into quarterly earnings. Gruh Finance had another strong quarter, 25% growth in profit after tax for the company. Joining us to explain what's been going on behind those numbers, Mr. Sudhin Choksey of Gruh Finance. Very good morning to you, sir. Thanks for coming in. Sir, would love to hear what the environment looked like. I know there have been some disruptive forces in the real estate space. There's been some talk, and we had spoken earlier about possibility of a slowdown in home finance dispersals. But clearly, none of that seems to have impacted your quarter.
I think, we have experienced a good demand, for the low home loans under the government scheme, the interest subvention scheme. I think in this 6 months period, we have seen quite a good growth in demand, which has gone up from 400 crores to 700 crores. In terms of the number also, there has been a good increase from almost 4,900 to around 8,000 individuals or families have, taken a loan so that they can get a benefit under the interest subvention scheme. Even if you look at the total disbursement growth, the growth has come largely from the volume. Almost 18% has been an increase in the number of loans, and 10% is by way of value. So I think this speaks quite a good for the sector. That the growth demand is coming from the numbers and not from the value. So, and hope this demand continues, or it should increase after the 12 months to 15 months period.
Sir, and you're convinced of the asset quality or the potential asset quality of this portfolio in particular? These interest subvention schemes sometimes seem to distort the actual demand, and one wonders what happens later down the line. But I assume you're keeping a close eye or doing your own monitoring as well, sir?
Yes, I think we would be keenly monitoring and tracking it. You have rightly raised the point that over a period of time we will have to see, because this demand is coming largely at bottom of the pyramid, and we'll have to see how do they service their obligations. I think whatever little stress we are seeing is probably on account of the GST, more informal segment. Other than that, at the moment we don't see much of the worry. Except that the levels have slightly gone up. But I hope, everything settles down probably by, next June quarter, because 1 year of the GST should be completed by then.
Mr. Choksey, would your performance be an outlier in this space? And would you believe that the growth for the space at large is probably not as high as this 15-20%? Because when we speak to developers, we have a conversation with Mahindra Lifespace, for example, and he was saying that the offtake is nowhere close to what they were envisaging over the course of the last, up till the last 6 to 9 odd months.
I think you are probably right. I think the developers have certainly not seen the offtake. But if you look at it, we have been largely located in smaller locations. And if you look at our properties which we finance, they are mostly self-constructed properties, and therefore the developers' play is not yet witnessed or experienced. I think, but I am very hopeful that post next October, because what has happened, the developers have received incentive through a budget of 2017, where the profits will be exempt on a creation of the supply under the mid and the low end of the market. So I think that supply will start coming into the market probably in a year's time, because they need to take approval from the authorities. RERA also has just commenced. So I think we should see the supply situation and the demand for them improving probably by the next Diwali.
Okay, one question from Maya. I don't know, Ida probably has one more, but you wouldn't be too perturbed about asset quality issues coming up, right? Last quarter, we did see some home loan financiers having asset quality issues, and it was a surprise because typically we haven't seen these things happen in the home loan segment, but it did come up. What do you think is the trend for the space by and large? We're an industry captain's hat, sir.
See, I tell you, as far as the pure home loan is concerned, we are not seeing any much of the, concern at present, because even in our portfolio of the pure home loan business, the gross NPAs are less than 0.6. I think other players probably have shown a high level of NPAs, largely on the LEP portfolio. Even in our case, the LEP portfolio has almost 1.19% as a gross NPAs. So obviously the LEP will continue to be under the pressure for some more time.
Mr. Choksey, just one last quick question. So I saw in the notes that you're continuing to hold standard provisions a little bit higher than the reduced level of 0.25%. Just prudence, sir, or anything that you foresee coming down the line in terms of NPAs which you want to provision ahead for?
No, I think the note which you have seen to the results which we have published, I think this is exactly as per the guideline given by National Housing Bank, because while they reduce the rate of standard asset provisioning from 0.4 to 0.25, obviously they wanted to do on an incremental in the new loans at the 0.25, and whatever the excess provision because of the reduction, they didn't wanted us to write back, and they want to carry on till we can utilize for our future disbursements. So obviously we'll be carrying forward, and I think depending on the growth of each player, I think that amount will be carried.
Okay, understood that, Mr. Choksey. Thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.